Like, I really did want to wait to talk about this anime because I actually love it and I have a lot to say about it, but I also really wanted to try and get this video out on 86 that I'm currently still working on, because that probably had one of the most beautiful and best season finales I've ever witnessed in an anime. But here I am talking about Spy Family because, well, what else would I be talking about today? Now, obviously from the thumbnail and title, you already knew what anime I was going to be discussing, but I probably could have just put a picture of a black square for the thumbnail and erased the title, and I'm confident that most of you will be able to figure out what today's topic was. Okay, that might have been a bit of an over-exaggeration, but you get my point. That's how popular this anime has gotten in the short time it's been out, and it sounds just as crazy as you might think it does. Spy Family is a series that's actually fairly new and only just began serialization for Shonen Jump Plus back in March of 2019. The author of this manga is Tatsuyu Endo, and from what little research I did of him, or her, I'm not quite sure, but I'm guessing it's a dude, this is actually his first breakthrough manga. He had a couple of other works and one-shots, but from what I gathered, none of them really took off, and most of them were axed early, which, I mean, happens a lot of the times for mangakas. Endo was also an assistant for both Blue Exorcist and Fire Punch, which are both pretty well-respected works, so the man does have at least some experience under his belt. Something though that I found really interesting when researching about this guy is that apparently his editor Shihei Lin claimed that the reception for Spy Family from their editorial department was so good that its serialization was, and I quote, practically decided before an official meeting for it took place, which, if you're not really familiar with how manga serializations work, that's like a ginormous flex. Basically in Japan, you have the editorial departments that are essentially the HQs of where all of the editors for mangakas and mangakas alike meet and discuss about, well, manga. Every so often, they'll have a serious meeting with all of the editors and the chief editor, and they talk about what manga needs to be replaced and what stories are good enough to take its spot and begin serialization. It gets pretty competitive, and these meetings are no joke. They basically decide the future of the company and can sometimes lead to the next big hit if they get lucky. So the fact that Endo was able to get Spy Family published before even an official meeting took place should speak for itself on this anime's extremely fast rise in popularity. Speaking of popularity, let's talk about the premise of the anime. I know, I'm amazing segue, you don't need to tell me. I'm just too good at this. We follow a man that goes by the code name Twilight, and he's Westalis' master spy. Being known for completing any mission that he's given with ease, he's a by-the-book man and takes his job at being a spy very seriously. Twilight is given a new mission, to investigate Ostanian politician Donovan Desmond by infiltrating his son's school, the prestigious Eden Academy. But there's a catch. Twilight can't get too close to his target unless he has a child that enrolls into the school, and the child can't attend Eden without having both a mother and a father. So Twilight is faced with his most difficult mission yet, to make a pretend family and get his child into the prestigious school successfully. Also, to make matters even more complicated, the daughter he ends up adopting is a telepath who's able to read the minds of others, and the woman he ends up choosing to be his wife turns out to be a master assassin. It's a dynamic that's very fun to watch. Trying to see how each member of the family tries to hide their secrets from one another is both hilarious and extremely sweet. This anime is also being done by both Cloverworks and Wit Studios, which, while Clover can be an extreme wildcard at times when it comes to their anime, I feel like the addition of Wit was a nice, safety blanket that relieved my worries for this anime adaptation. Speaking of which, the animation for this show is, well, really good. As someone who has 3 volumes of the manga, I can confidently say that the anime has been a one-to-one mirror of its manga counterpart so far, which is awesome to see, because we don't want to have another one of those disasters, do we? But other than that, there really isn't much else to say about the anime when it comes to its animation. Nothing has really made my jaw drop, but there are a few moments where they bump up the quality a bit for some of the fight scenes, and it just looks so smooth and good when they do that. But yeah, they were able to capture the art of the manga very well, and I hope that they're able to keep this consistency with the later episodes as well. This show is such a fresh breath of air compared to the typical action comedy that we'll usually see from time to time. It has such a simple yet unique premise while still keeping you engaged and entertained. It never gets boring when watching this anime, and that in itself is already a huge accomplishment in my eyes, considering how much anime we get every season and how much of it can be a snooze fest at times. A reason as to why I think the show is getting so popular so fast is its ability to handle its crazy over-the-top story really well. You can go from a life or death spy mission that has incredibly high stakes to wondering if Anya, the little girl, will be able to make friends in her new school. Its ability to transition from plot point to plot point so smoothly is what really makes this story fun in my eyes. While the surface level plot of the story is nowhere near relatable to, I hope, anyone, the characters all somehow feel so real, and I think that's due to the problems that these characters have to face. You see a guy who is the best spy in his country, yet he has trouble dealing with his adopted daughter and doesn't know where to start on being a parent, so he has to try and figure it all all out on his own without much help. Or a widely feared woman who is a master assassin, yet something that causes her to worry the most is not having a +1 to bring to a dinner party. Also add the fact that she has to deal with the societal pressures of being a middle-aged woman with no husband or boyfriend. Or Anya, you see this adorable little girl who has this incredibly strong ability to read the minds of others, yet ironically, because of her power, she ends up not being able to communicate with people very well. All she wants is just to be a kid and have a family. It's stuff like this that really makes you fall in love with these characters because you've been in that situation before. You know what it's like to be the only single person in your friend group. You know what it's like to be thrown into a crazy situation with no help or direction to go off of. And some of us even unfortunately know what it's like to not have a good family environment or to not have one at all. So when you slowly start to see these characters form a bond and you slowly start seeing this makeshift family become a real family, it's one of the most heartwarming things ever. Because when they're together, they all try to help each other out with their problems, and you slowly start to see that layer of doubt peel away from each character every time they go through something with each other. Spy Family is no masterpiece, far from it. It's not a mind-blowing thrill ride that leaves you questioning the meaning of life, and it's not tackling these dark, intense themes that leave you empty inside. It's a comedy action anime with a really heartwarming message, and it doesn't need to be more than that. It just does what it needs to do really well. It tells the story of a spy family. Woo! Damn! That ending was heat. Did y'all see what I did there at the end? The little name drop at the end of the video? Okay, I was like some movie shit, man. But in all seriousness, thank you guys so much for watching the video. It really does mean a lot to me, and if you like what you saw today, maybe consider hitting the subscribe and like button down below. It literally takes no time at all, and it would greatly help me out if you guys did. I mean, only of course if you want to, no pressure. Alright, well, that's all I had for you guys today. It's been Hard Eyes, and I'll catch you on the next one.